There are legends meant to scare children. And then there are legends meant to warn the living. Across Mexico and much of Latin America, there is one name people still whisper near rivers after dark. La Llorona, the weeping woman. They say if you hear her crying nearby, it's already too late. Because she is not crying for herself. She is crying for her children. For centuries, people have reported the same chilling sound. A woman's voice. Long, hollow, and filled with an unbearable, soul-crushing grief. Sometimes it sounds impossibly distant, and sometimes it sounds like it's right behind you. Miss Hijos. Oh, my children. But here's the truly strange part. The closer the cry sounds, the farther away she actually is. And when it sounds far away, like a faint whisper on the wind, she may be standing only a few steps from you. La Llorona is said to wander near rivers, lakes, canals, and deserted streets late at night. Always dressed in white. Always with her face hidden or blurred by shadows. Always crying. And always searching. The roots of this terrifying legend stretch back over 500 years to the Spanish colonial era. One of the earliest written references comes from Bernal Diaz del Castillo, a Spanish conquistador who took part in the fall of the Aztec Empire. In his chronicles, he described strange omens seen just before the conquest of the great city of Tenochtitlan. One of them was a woman who would wander the streets at night, wailing in despair. She cried out, "Oh my children, we are about to be destroyed." The Aztecs believed she was a supernatural warning, a mother spirit, mourning the fate of her people before it even happened. But as Spanish and indigenous cultures were forced to merge, the legend changed. It twisted, and it became far, far darker. According to the most widely told version, the version whispered from parent to child, La Llorona was once a real woman. She was indigenous. She was poor. And she was breathtakingly beautiful. She fell deeply in love with a Spanish nobleman, a man of power and high status. He took her as his lover, and she bore him 2 children, a boy and a girl. She gave him everything. But when she finally asked him to marry her, he refused. He laughed at the idea. Why? Because marrying an indigenous woman would destroy his reputation among the colonial elite. Shortly after, he abandoned her and their children to marry a wealthy Spanish woman of his own class. That night, hearing the news, something inside her shattered. The story goes that she woke her children while it was still dark. She did not cry. She did not speak a single word. She led them quietly by the hand, down toward the river that flowed near their small home. The moon reflected off the dark, rippling water. The current was calm. But inside her, a storm was raging. Blinded by rage, humiliation, and a despair so deep it felt like poison, she drew a dagger. And there, at the riverbank, she stabbed them. Again. And again. She left their small, lifeless bodies near the water's edge and stumbled away into the darkness. Only moments later, as the cold night air hit her face, reality crashed back in. She realized what she had done. And from her chest came a scream so terrible, so filled with anguish, that it was said to have echoed across the land. A scream so full of grief that people would claim to hear its echo for generations to come. What happened next depends on who you ask. Some versions say she threw herself into that same river, drowning in the very water that had witnessed her crime. Others say she simply wandered the countryside until madness and starvation consumed her. But all versions of the legend agree on one critical point. She was never forgiven. When her spirit arrived at the gates of the afterlife, she was denied entry. Her soul was cursed to roam the earth, forever searching for the children she murdered. She was condemned to cry for them, to weep her eternal sorrow, until the end of time itself. Even today, in our modern world, people claim to see her. Drivers report a terrifying figure of a woman standing near highways late at night, soaking wet, dressed in white, only to vanish when they get closer. Parents still warn their children never to wander near water after the sun goes down. Fishermen speak of hearing eerie cries that seem to follow them along the riverbank, always just out of sight. And in some villages, there is a deep-seated belief that if La Llorona mistakes your child for her own, she will take them. She will drag them into the water to replace the children she lost. So what does she want? Some say she only seeks forgiveness, that her eternal search is a penance. Others believe she is malicious, driven by a jealous rage to make other parents feel the same loss she feels. There are chilling stories of La Llorona appearing at bedroom windows, standing silently, just watching sleeping children. And when she finally disappears, something is missing from the room. A toy. a blanket, a small sign that she was there. La Llorona is more than just a ghost story to keep you up at night. She represents centuries of history. She is the embodiment of betrayal, of colonial cruelty. She is the ghost of a mother destroyed by social injustice and a broken heart. She is grief itself, given a voice. And that voice still cries out in the dark places of the world. So, a final thought. If you ever find yourself walking near a river at night, and you hear the faint sound of a woman crying, do not answer. Do not try to help. Do not follow the sound. Turn around and walk away as fast as you can. And whatever you do, hold your children close, because La Llorona is still searching, and she never, ever stops crying. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into dark folklore, be sure to subscribe for more.